if you're not down here, you best get yourselves down here tomorrow. There's going to be plenty of space available, so make sure you are in and around the area of LA Live. Obviously, if you're living in a different country, it could be a problem.
It might be hard to get down here for the next day, but either way, I'm waiting for Saigon Jokers to see if they try anything creative or whether they're just comfortable enough on their champions to take out Najin. Najin's all 5 grouped up in this triangle brush. You can see Saigon Jokers are really playing defensively. They're trying to guard against and invade. Najin's Sword might try to make something happy, but if they're not threatened by Saigon Jokers, there's no need to risk a level 1. They could passive farm and hopefully take it that way. It's really interesting to see what they decide here.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just seeing which are they going to go into it. It would be death to anyone entering that tri-bush. I think Ezreal's tempted to go near it and probably going to queue towards it. I'm just taking my eye. It is Archie that's taking a peek there. He's doing a bit of a disco dance. Najin Sword going to go up towards the blue buff. So Archie's going to spot them.
Well, look at this. That's an Aurelia and a Lux in the bottom lane. And they really have a just odd setup right here because they're guarding against a blue invade. They got the pings down, but why, oh why, is Aurelia bottom lane with Lux?
Why, oh why indeed. Who are we to question why? We are just here. Call the shots. And as it is, it's going to be Watch starting out on the Elder Wraith. Taking it on down. Golems will be going to Prey, so standard lanes from Najin Sword by looks of it. Prey and Kayn on that bottom lane, and like you say, QTB is waiting here. Are they waiting to try and get a gank early on? Because Ezreal is still lingering as well. I think they want to get a level 1.
So he still has the teleport. This is something actually the Team Legion in North America does fairly frequently. They'll 3 in the bottom brush and just kind of only show the 1. So 2 will be waiting in the brush and they'll just kind of farm. And they'll wait for them to push up thinking there's only 1 guy there and then try to jump out at them with 2. If that doesn't work or doesn't go out and teleport out.
They flash straight on towards Prey. They managed to get the light bind across. Surely it should be first blood. It will be. Then QTB picks it up. You shouted yes because you called it right.
It's just, I love it when that play works because it's one of those strategies. The very first game that everyone who played League of Legends, they run into a brush, and 2 guys are waiting for there and they kill them.
There's 5 people down the bottom lane. You're just like, what?
That strategy still works at the highest level is amazing.
Now everybody's thinking back to their, their early days in League of Legends going, and they all know that one guy that checked the push down the bottom.
I guarantee you.
Doublelift is famous for being space checking, so everybody has done it, even at the pro level. So it worked out very well. We thought, to be honest, he was giving it away, and it worked out very nicely, which immediately means that Golem advantage that the blue side has completely backfired because Archie hit level 2 first.
And the interesting thing about all of that is QTB didn't actually teleport back up to the top lane. He decided to walk, which means he missed a fair number of minions, and Macnoon has an immediate experience advantage onto QTV. QTV got the kill, so he has the first blood gold, but even then Macnoon might still be able to bully him out of that.
So early gold advantage obviously towards Saigon Jokers. Still almost said Singapore Sentinels. I was still that surprised that they didn't make it. But Saigon Jokers here on full merit. They are representing the whole of Vietnam here.
And even the Singapore Sentinels actually released a video saying they absolutely deserve to be here. They beat it, they've improved so much, and good luck. So that was a really good sportsmanship thing to see from Singapore Sentinels. And it just shows Saigon Jokers did qualify in here. They're completely legit. They won the games. They deserve to be a little bit respected, especially with that first blood.
Yeah, and with all calls of the honor system, Singapore Sentinels definitely singing the praises for that one. Tribush Ward will spot Violet. He's going to try and make his way down that bottom lane. As it stands. Take us through the lanes, Jan. I mean, we talked about this top lane to start with. QTB getting dived on the turret a little bit by Macnoon, taking a little bit of damage. He's got a massive creep wave he needs to fend off here. Meanwhile, down the bottom here, and seeing Archie trying to go aggressive on Prey. Can he finish him off? Archie actually taking a tower hit. Surely will finish him off. He does get the kill, but he went down on the back of it. Kayn managed to return the kill. He may even be able to get the kill on towards Lux there, just forces him away.
All aggression in that bottom lane, so let's try to get into the
middle lane. Nick's Water actually getting caught out here by Watch. Watch wanted to prove to the world that he is the best, well, honestly, the best Skarner player in the world. Well, you got to go against Diamond Prox to prove that one because he plays a pretty mean Skarner himself.
Looking into the top lane here while we have a second, the Aurelia versus the Jace matchup. Macnoon thinks Jace can beat everything in top lane. That's why he first picked it, and he's very comfy on it. Thus far, with that experience advantage, he's going to look to just keep pressed, counter gank potentially from Skarner here if he sees Violet, and they could maybe get something here going on.
Yeah, and that would also explain why he wanted to see SOAS here from Fnatic. As it is, Macnoon's got to be careful. He doesn't go too deep on this one. Violet is there, but Watch is helping out. Red buff though, Macnoon continuing to get that damage down onto him. quite happy to just stick it out there. This aggression that he shows on Violet just starting to burn down his hit points, but QTV will be able to manage to sustain himself. But the two junglers, it's almost becoming a double lane at that top.
And in that top lane, MacNoon is going to be a bully to QTV. QTV needs to wait until he's got a lot of levels before he can actually duel MacNoon or just try to run him out of mana. Since they're both low, that's going to be a tricky lane. Going into the mid lane, we have the Karthus versus the Ryze. This is going to be all about setup for the ganks right here. If he lands that Dark Binding, oh, we have something. Never mind, we don't have something going down bottom. Song is going to try to not get shoved by Karthus. Nixwater, as Karthus, usually outfarms everyone. So far, 7 minions up onto Ryze. It's really all about whether they can turn ganks around for Ryze onto Karthus. Looking in the bottom lane, this lane is just about all up aggression and brawling because the Lux and Ezreal are in it to fight and they have no sustain. So every time they go in for a trade, every time they go in for a light binding, there's a potential for someone to die. So really the bottom lane, as you've seen already, is most likely going to have the most action.
Yeah, and actually I noticed that it was Kayn or Prey. I didn't see who it was down the bottom there. It was Kayn who was staying a long way away from the experience. Prey is just farming it up because he had fell behind. Kayn, you can see, he's actually a level advantage over Prey at the moment, and he was just staying out of it, letting all the experience go to Kayn. The top lane now, QTV, MacNoon just finished him off there. He just stuck around longer and eventually just got chipped away at.
MacNoon actually putting 0 points in his W thus far. Everything going in to his E and his Q, so all his main damaging burst spells are getting as much ramp as possible. He didn't even level up his ultimate come level 6, which is why QTV got surprised by that burst damage, because most Jaces are not going to have that skill set up come level 6.
And as it is, Archie and Judy down that bottom lane, they've been poked pretty heavily. I think they're going to have to back away from this one because Kayn and Prey definitely working them over slowly but surely. And you can see the health pots being burnt through. Archie now completely out of health pots. Again, that shield from Junie just trying to cover him off there. He has gone for the double door and is trying his best to keep that sustain on, but Prey slowly but surely is going to dive in towards it. Junie will get taken down. That's going to be the QTV teleported in there. Are they going to be able to finish off Prey? The crescendo goes across. It will be enough. Can they get on towards Kayn though? QTV just needs to go one dash. Blocked off by the minions. That's too much to tower dive. Now Watch is going to rejoin in. He has got his ultimate available, but he's not going to go for it and just backs away.
He didn't quite have enough mana to combo on the things there with Watch. He would have been able to flash ult someone, but then he wouldn't have been able to follow it up, and he was worried he was going to die to QTV. Didn't want to actually pull someone in to his Sona. Other than that, lots of pings going down. Song getting caught out by a ward. So much aggression going down in that bottom lane. And QTV camping. They don't expect him to still be there, but Song coming down as well. They have to fall back. QTV out of position.
Out of position. He does dive onto a Song now. Archie seems to be the target, but because QTV won up the Song there, they should be able to pick it up. A brilliant taunt now coming out from Violet. Turns it into a double kill. Absolutely spectacular stuff. And Saigon Jokers keeping themselves in this one. 5-4 up. The top two will go down though. MacNoon opening up the exchange and taking the first turret of the game.
MacNoon is crushing Aurelia in the top lane, but because of that, QTV realized he's not able to lane against Jace, and he's trying to make things happen elsewhere. All that action in the bottom lane has given them the kill advantage. It's really just a matter of they have to find a way to deal with MacNoon. MacNoon went the Brutalizer. They're going to have to focus him in team fights and try to kill him out early. But overall, 9 minutes into the game, Saigon Jokers doing an amazing job showing Najin's sword that they're not to be taken for granted.
Absolutely, as it is at the moment, this bottom lane continuing to push on. So Prey returning back, and he's gone. Jace now gone with a Brutalizer in that top lane. He wants to really absolutely knock 7 bells out of him. Looks like Phase is going to get built up. Kane's getting caught out again here. Archie's going to dive on towards him. There's the Shen ultimate coming down, and he's going to immediately taunt him out there. Can they finish off on towards Prey here? Violet went looking for him. MacNoon joins the party though. He comes down. Can they get towards Archie? Yes, they can. MacNoon gets one. Can they get a second? They're trying to get towards Judy. Lifeline just keeping them away there. I feel that MacNoon wants to punish this one. Judy realizes it, tries to take down the minions, tries to force them away here, and they realize that they're in danger of being dived on the turret.
And this is actually really quite exceptional by MacNoon. 4 points into Q, 4 points into E. He has not put a point into W or R yet this game, so he's trying to maximize his QE damage. This is something I've not seen Jaces do. Maybe it's my ignorance, or maybe it's just MacNoon doing something crazy, because it is working out amazingly well for them so far.
Absolutely, you can see Prey just going to continue driving home on that turret. He is going to take it down. I was about to say that's very un-Korean of him. The Koreans very much take that advantage. Once they see that turret, they will take it down very quickly. So QTV now starting to farm his way back up in that top lane. He has been involved, but MacNoon, 66 CS, 50 CS, 200, proving why he's a danger man.
It's really going to be about McNoon roaming around now and taking down turrets. He took the turret top by himself really easily. The instant he goes bottom, he gets kills and takes another turret. He's probably going to farm up here top very briefly, then maybe try to force mid and get the third. Najin Sword loves to keep on the pressure. This is going to be very interesting how McNoon transitions the rest. All of his skill points going into Shock Blast and Acceleration Gate. Those EQs are going to truck down Saigon Jokers if they get into any kind of siege situation.
Absolutely. We've just seen Junie marking up the territory, as it were, down by the Dragon. Meanwhile, McNoon continues just to farm up in this top lane. He's really caused himself a problem. Where's he headed? You just got to keep your eye on McNoon. Once he starts heading somewhere, it generally means there's going to be a kill that will follow. Looks like he's going to go heading in towards the middle here. That's towards Carafa. Sneaks Water. Needs to be careful.
Also, the Dragon is up. They could potentially...
Archie and Junie are actually heading over towards the Dragon already. You can see Shen is there. And they are going to pull out the Dragon. You can see Dragon is going to come out. As it is. Aren't Najin Sword aware of this? And they don't seem to be, or are they even going to bother going for it? Looks like Saigon Jokers are just going to pick this one up without any problems. There it is, free Dragon, thank you very much. Can they stop Najin Sword taking down the turret? That's the question. The Ezreal ultimate comes across. They're going to have to tank it up there. You can see Watch just off to the side there. And that's going to be an immediate engage. QTB going in, get it dropped into the crescendo, hitting the entire team. Taking them down. Saigon Jokers dropping left and right. Archie needs to be careful. Violet being the next target. Violet getting dropped by McNoon again. Another double kill for McNoon. Now he is 4-0 and absolutely dominating here. Saigon Jokers weren't quite sure of that one. They came in for the fight, but Najin Sword were ready and waiting.
Najin Sword was daring them to fight there. They may or may not have known the Dragon, but with how far up they were pushed into that tower, they were just waiting for Saigon Jokers to come fight them. And boy, were they ready. The crescendo really winning them that fight, setting up everything else, and they could potentially take a second turret off that exchange.
Absolutely, they're going to go straight into the second inner turret. Archie can do nothing but watch. He is helpless. Just spectate this one, just like the rest of us here in the crowd. We just have to watch that turret going down. And Najin Sword turning that one small advantage of losing the Dragon and fighting and just turning it into such a massive advantage, taking 2 turrets off the back of it.
And with all that, they're all going back whole heaps of gold on a lot of them. McNoon, 1,900 gold. He's going to turn that in to a BF sword, so he's going to be absolutely crushing with those EQ combos because that's all he's put points into at level 10. He's maxed his acceleration gate, he's maxed his shock blast, and it's just a huge, unreal amount of burst damage that comes down into Jace at level 10 already. How is Saigon Jokers going to deal with that? 4 turrets to 0 down already. Total aggression coming out from Najin.
Yeah, so watch here. 8-6 up the kills, 21k to 17.2, so gold advantage clearly coming from those turrets that Najin Sword have just been taking down left, right and centre. All the outer turrets currently down, the one inner turret down. Najin Sword definitely with map control. Just going to drive things home and see if they can pick anyone off there. McNoon. And it's like you said about the acceleration gate, you know, he's just picking people off left and right with that thing. It's a pain in the for I had to watch what I said there for arrows, but you know, here on the moment on the top lane, we saw SOAS with it so delicately, just ripping through teams at the EU regionals for Fnatic, and honestly, the teams have just picked it up from there on in. You know, McNoon actually mentioned SOAS in his brief, you know, saying that it's a shame that he didn't actually get to meet SOAS here. Which is obviously where a lot of players have picked up Jace from. We've seen Dyrus running it as well lately.
It's really, once you learn how to play Jace, you're a huge threat. And McNoon is just one of the masters, really. He was drawing bans from it during the Korean regionals, and I'm expecting bans from it in the rest of this group because this is so difficult for Saigon Jokers to deal with. They were holding the map pretty well, aside from QTV losing that lane early. Then QTV went to Rome, and we thought that was all well and good, but then McNoon went to Rome and really just turned the game on its head.
So as it is, Violet's trying to farm out in that top lane. Meanwhile, Archie, he's got to be careful he doesn't get caught out here. Rise definitely feel aggressive for this one. It's one of the things that's been mentioned. Song has started to go a lot more aggressive than he used to. He used to be that passive.
Oh, Violet up top.
Almost Scar, and Violet is definitely going to get caught out. Dropped in seconds there. And Watch just popping that ulti, just hooking him in. There was no escape from that one. McNoon just picking up another assist. 4-0-2 for McNoon, 2-1-2. And you talked about this build earlier on with the boost mobility and the Oracle being built very early on.
And now with Watch, since they have the advantage, since they've taken down towers, there's not much Saigon Jokers can do to farm because, as we saw there, Najin can wait in brushes and know that they're not have vision on because they just both followed in the brush. Everyone in Saigon Jokers really restrained to their base. These outer turrets could very well fall. Their jungle is no longer their own. The lanes are no longer their own. And Najin doing a great job at just pressuring around and keeping Saigon Jokers on their heels.
QTV's got to be careful he doesn't get collapsed on here. I can see Song just going around the side there. A whole of Saigon Jokers now. This is going to be a full-on 5v5 in this top lane. The ping's going down. I think Saigon Jokers may have realized it. The whole team is there. QTV getting caught out by the Rise ultimate going across them. You can see McNoon just trying to get around the side. He wants to really start things off here. The Kane crescendo, I've talked about it earlier on. It seems to be the big thing that starts off the team fight. Once that crescendo hits across, and he seems to land it across a minimum of 3 players every time. They're going to tank up against the turret here. You can see they really want to start to fight, but instead they're like, oh, are we going to have to take this turret down? Okay, fine. We wanted to fight, really.
Saigon Jokers got very heavily poked down there. The Rise ultimate actually did a substantial amount of damage, and then Archie got hit pretty hard by a shot blast from McNoon. They're most likely just going to go all around the map here and take out the second-tier turrets in every single lane individually. They have 5 turrets now, soon to be 6. They're just making sure to keep up their goal.
And McNoon's poke, we just saw it blast across there. Carlton's hit points dropped instantly. He has now got that BS scored. He's just getting stronger and stronger by the minute at the moment, McNoon. Proving really why he's so popular. He's definitely one of the fan favourites, certainly in Korea, and honestly in the Western world as well. You know, he was over here in the season 2
Riot Games World Invitational.
The Riot Games World Invitational, yeah, that you guys played, and obviously made people playing Yi.
Yeah, McNoon may have beat us pretty badly. He clicked Nasus, destroyed us, picked Yi, built 4 Phantom Dancers, and destroyed us. So.
He kind of made you look silly.
Sad memories.
And that was the live testing team, I believe, maybe.
It was.
Yeah, now that I've seen you all in the office, I'm pretty sure that's all of you guys that are all sat there. So yeah, we guys were spanked by McNoon, and you know what? It doesn't make you feel too bad when he starts doing it against other pro teams, so honestly, you shouldn't feel too bad for yourself. He has just completed that Bloodthirster 4-0 to 130 CS, and you know, we talked about it earlier. The CS isn't really the thing that Najin will go for at the moment. It's the kills.
It is, and that's normally what Saigon Jokers like to do. They love to just go for kills and try to create a lot of action early. It's just Najin Swords made more action, and they're beating them at Saigon Jokers' kind of own game. Here they're going for another dragon. Global Goal getting bigger and bigger, and Saigon Jokers is too weak at this point to go for kills in a lot of situations.
Yeah, they cannot get involved in this one, and they're wise not to. They're just going to sit back and farm. They're in that dangerous situation where they're group farming. So really the experience, the gold has been spread too thinly. And Archie's got to be very careful he doesn't get caught out of position. And here is a 3-man gang squad coming from Saigon Jokers. You can see they've used the gate. And Archie was well ready for it, but Watch managed to hook straight in. And that is a very dead Archie. And Watch ended up picking up the kill. They weren't really that bothered. And now Prey actually picking up Judy, trying to 1v3 them here and having to back away from that one. He has got the help coming out. Song's going to come around the side. Violet's got to be careful he doesn't get caught out. Here comes Song. He's going to try and get involved. Nix Water could easily get caught out. The Wall of the Pain diving up towards Song. Could it be a bait? QTV going to be the target. They're just turning around. Looks, he's trying to get forced back. QTV's going to get away. The Ignite is running. Song is still there. The flash from Kane. Flash crescendo from Kane going full on aggression. The rest of his team were not with him. But McNoon from downtown slams it home. And that's going to be the Carthage ulti doing nothing to stop them. And Najin's sword will take the first inhibitor phase. Oh, Song got caught by Archie. That's real ultimate. Just as he's about to exit. And that's going to be careful.
Long-range skill shots galore, and that is a big play overall for Najin's sword. Nothing is slowing down McNoon, and that boost of mobility Skarner comboed with the gate from Jace was an unreal amount of speed. Archie had no way of escape at the very start of that huge long engagement.
It was a very long engagement. I wasn't too sure whether Kane had gone a little bit too deep, but I forgot McNoon was in the team. And then he just came back and supported him. It's all good. I love to see those flash crescendos. It's something I'm used to seeing Melisan used to do, and sadly is no longer playing for Fnatic. Has obviously stopped playing League of Legends, but he used to do that quite regularly. We saw it at IEM New York where they went unstoppable. And, you know, it's one of those things that you don't see. I mean, obviously we see Gosu Pepper going very aggressive on Sona, but we don't tend to see the flash crescendos coming out, the full-on aggression from those support. And, you know, that just shows, that backs up the theory that the whole team is an aggressive beast.
Everyone on Najin's sword just goes. You don't see them sitting back. The last game you and I did was the CLGEU, just the last one. CLGEU is patient.
Yeah.
Najin's sword's not patient. Najin's sword goes. They take every small opportunity and just pounce on it. They execute, and they are all out aggressive, and it catches a lot of teams. They never have a time to think. They don't have a plan, time to get a counterattack ready, because they just get hit again and again and can never stand back up.
which goes to show, you know, how strong COG EU were to beat Nanjing Sword 3-1 in that semi-finals of the OGN Summer Championships. You know, how they countered it, well, we will soon find out, because they'll be playing each other in the next 2 games. So, I mean, there's so many good games still coming up. This is the very start of Group B, really. We've just seen COG EU beating Dignitas. If you missed that game, apologies, I've just spoiled it for you completely. You can check that VOD out. It was a pretty slow farming session, though, so I'm not going to lie. It was a little bit of a damp squid, that one. So 12-7 Nanjing Sword, though, definitely an aggressive one. If I would recommend any game through the day, it would involve a Korean team or an Asian team, because honestly, they have all been super aggressive, and I love this style of play.
So far, they've somewhat stolen the show from a lot of the other teams. They've been dominating almost all of their matchups. Really, the only Chinese or Korean teams to lose thus far was when they played against each other. So right now, we actually see MacNoon trying to split push while the other 4 are posturing around Baron. This is a little curious because MacNoon is the strongest member. He has no reason to not be with the team right now. And it's at this point, Najin needs to think about turning the game into a victory. Saigon Jokers is at the point where they have to try to make a gambit play. This is really the last-ditch effort if Saigon Jokers wants to do anything.
Yeah, and they realize that MacNoon has now rejoined the team. He's pushed that bottom lane, so that's going to push itself, which means somebody's going to have to go deal with it. And Najin sort of slowly but surely setting up for a Baron. Do they want the Baron? Or do they just want to force a fight at the Baron? And Relia, things seem to be going on towards QTV. QTV's got to be careful. He's already backtracking. He realizes the dangerous situation he was in. Najin Sword, respect that he's going back already and trying to set up for some sort of gang. There's a real lack of wards from both teams in this, though.
Forcing the fight would be ideal. Watch has been taking out all of Saigon Joker's wards, and Najin doesn't really care to ward right now because they win every fight.
Junie.
And Junie, scouting around. So ideally right here, Najin wants to get a fight, trying to take a Baron with the potential of a Lux and an Ezreal coming in for a steal, as well as potential smite. That would be the only thing that could get Saigon Jokers back in the game. Najin Sword is so far ahead, they don't actually need Baron to get in this inhibitor, and that's what they kind of realized here. They realized Saigon wasn't going to try to come for a Baron fight. Instead, they're just going to walk up and take this inhibitor if they can get it.
Yeah, there's no tower to stop them, so why not just go for it? MacNoon actually opening up on the bush there, just to take a little check there. He's just going to get a little bit of poke on towards that inhibitor. The question is, can they catch Saigon Jokers out? I'm expecting to see maybe a flash engage here from Song, or maybe even Kane, something to that extent. They are slowly but surely poking him out here. Wall of Pain hitting the team, but again, Frey not really that bothered. Nixwater getting dropped down a little bit there. MacNoon managing to land that accelerated gate spoon, and there it is. There's the flash engage straight away. The crescendo comes across the entire team. Saigon Jokers dropping left, right, and center. Nixwater going down. There's just one member left. It's going to be an ace. It is going to be Junie. And honestly, that Carthus ultimate may as well just throw a towel at Najin Sword, because they have just ripped the team apart. MacNoon, you can't tank 2 turrets, son. You may be good, but you're not that strong. And that may be put a little bit of dampener on the back of it.
He did the same thing in the final game against COGU. They won an ace, and he just ran straight into the Nexus turret on Jace. Only death of the game for MacNoon. That's almost his victory celebration.
There is a surrender.
And there is surrender. GG to Najin Sword. Amazing job.
Amazing.